So ideally for commercial layer chicks, in this case, the mortality rate is supposed to be around 4% all the way to 5%, as you can see right over here. And so taking as that 5% as the normal mortality rate for the chicks, that should give us what? Let's do some calculations. So it's a 0.02, that is 0.05 times multiplied by 700. Wow, it's a huge number. This is pretty normal, considering the fact that we have those underweight chicks. So expect to lose around that 5 chicks. Wow. So I told you guys, the higher the number of chicks, it means it's possible that the more you are expected to lose. So going by these standards, I should expect around 30 to 35 chicks in terms of loss. But you have to make sure that it doesn't get to that high number, because that's a huge loss right there. So welcome back, guys. This is day 3 of raising these commercial layers. Let's take a look at the chicks. So as the days go by, the more active the chicks become. Just get rid of this one. Don't want them going outside like that. So yeah, so these are the chicks, guys. Look at this. They are more active, except for a few which are dying. So I want to talk about that mortality thing, because it's a very, common thing when it comes to chicks of this type. So I remember the last time I did layers, rather broilers, I lost close to more than 30. I lost more than 30 chicks, and the conditions weren't that favorable, considering the fact that I had some wet litter. I hadn't really prepared the brooder very well, because it was prepared in a hurry. Therefore, you find that I brought in some wet litter. It wasn't that dry like the ones we have right here. Right now, it's very dry. It's very nicely dry. The one that you have right here, it's nicely dry. So compared to that, I consider the conditions of that particular time to be very different from now. Right now, everything is okay, almost perfect. The brooder was ready, prepared way earlier. The water was well served. We have some chick studs, some multivitamins right there. Everything is in order. So normally you expect, deaths are very common. As I showed you earlier, that some factors, you can't just avoid. There are some factors you can't just avoid. Things like underweight chicks. Underweight means, and I'll keep repeating this, means the egg was okay. Look at something like this. The egg was okay, of the normal size that they put in the incubator, normally a medium size egg. But maybe the egg was, its position wasn't that correct. So the chick, in the process of hatching, didn't get the best temperature, didn't get the best humidity, didn't get the best air circulation during the process of hatching, or during the process of incubation. Therefore, it developed, as you can see, it developed, but there are certain, things that the chick is missing, you see. So that's why you find that the chick, after a few days, the eyes are closing, and then the eyes become watery. A good example is this one. You got, look at it. The feathers are all spread out. This one, the feathers are all spread out. But look at the healthier chick. It is feeding. Look at that. It's a vibrant. Look at that. It's scratching all the way. The feathers are growing. Why isn't the feathers are growing? But look at them. Look at that droopiness in those feathers. So this is the one I was showing you, that the eyes are closed. Look at that. And it cannot feed. The other thing, it is underweight. So many problems with this chick, guys. It is underweight. It's droopy. The eyes are closing. They are completely shut, by the way. Look at that. The eyes are completely shut. So it cannot be able to feed at this particular time, which means it just die. That's the reality. It will just die. So these are some of the things you cannot avoid. Now, should we blame the guys who are selling us this type of birds? Because once they pick out, I know that once they pick out the males from the females, they just sell everything else to you. They don't really consider the weight of the bird, which is a very key factor when you are selling these birds, guys. You have to consider the weight of the birds, because some birds come in very underweight. They don't really have the optimal weight to actually grow into a better chick. Therefore, you end up with things like this. So chicks like this, which are very small. Now, the moment these problems stem from the incubation process, as we know that you cannot get 100%, incubation, because it's always maybe 90 to 96% of the eggs that you put there. So 96 if you're lucky. If your temperatures are very nice, they are very optimal like that. So you get a 96%, in the hatchery. And the remaining 4% or 10% that don't hatch, just a number of reasons, guys. The reasons are so many. So of the 90% that may hatch, you will find that not all the chicks came out correctly, although they hatched very well, but not all of them met the conditions. Not all of them had access to the best conditions, the best optimal conditions for a chick to grow to a very healthy chick. Like the ones we have here, which are feeding. Look at this. These ones are nice. They are jumping around. They are eating. Look at that one. They are scratching. They have already adopted the natural behavior of a chick, which is to scratch around, of a chicken, which is to scratch around, find food, you see, eat like that. So when you see such activities, you feel these are not correct. It is likely to grow into a bigger chick if you maintain a bigger chicken, if you maintain the optimal temperatures, if you maintain, the right conditions for it. It is likely to become a very big layer bird. But if you look at factors like this one, chicks like this one, it is not, likely to go into that, very reproductive state, guys. So let me just show you. This is day 3. So within this week, I'm expecting some losses, which I have to just to be okay with it. Let me just show you some of them right here. So some of them I've taken them out. Some of them we just found them dead. So most of them we found that they are of just low quality chicks. Low quality chicks. I don't know if you have some there. It's very dark because they are chilling there because it's hot. And yeah, we have some heat in there. These are stove right there. So I think you have another one here. You see, so rightfully underweight, the same conditions like that. And then now we have another one here which is just dying. Should be dying in the next few hours or days. So the conditions are the same. The chick is tiny, it is underweight. It doesn't meet the right conditions to blossom into a bigger laying hen like that, like the rest of the chicks, guys. So you expect to lose this, obviously. Expect to lose that. So I think we were burning some. So it's normally okay just to burn them like that. But don't get me confused. Some smaller chicks may grow. Some smaller size chicks may grow. I don't know if I have some. I don't know. Can you see that? No, that's a big one. I've seen some small chicks growing, running around, eating, and that's the thing you expect from chicks, guys, at this particular stage. You expect them to be running around, all the way happy, scratching the floor, eating the food, drinking the water, like that. So the basic activities of a bird, of any bird like that, not lying around, making noise, chirping all over, like that. So yeah, this one is also underweight. So the moment you just hold the chick, you just know, no, this one doesn't have really weight like this. But look at this one. This one is healthy. It's active. You see, it's running around really like that. It's feeding. So you expect those losses just at the end of the day. There are things you can't avoid. Anyway, as a business, these are just some of the things you cannot avoid in this particular business, guys. Yeah, so my recommendation is that when you're doing this kind of business, or before you bring in your chicks, you have to place an order. Now in this case, you have to cater for such losses. If I'm expecting a loss of 30 to 35 chicks for the next week or 2 weeks, I'll have to factor in that loss, guys. So that's why I brought in around 700 chicks. Of course, the additions, the hatchery, they add some, they give you some extras, maybe 10 or 20, depending on where you're ordering from. So you get those extras, but there's no guarantee that they will survive, guys. So the thing is, if you are ordering, let's say you are bringing in 500 chicks, so you have to bring in an extra 50 just to cater for that loss that you expect, the 5% or the 1 to 5% loss that you expect for the next 2 weeks of your brooding. So that's the strategy, guys, to follow. Because if you bring in exactly 500 and expecting that all of them will grow to maturity, that's a lie. It won't happen. It's never happened like that. So it's a tricky business. In this case, it's a tricky business because you are losing money right away from the first week. I remember if you go into the second week and you are starting to lose about 5% of that, it means now, you know, the loss is actually coming directly from the chicks that you purchased. You are starting to experience the loss directly, as opposed to the chicks that were maybe added to you, to your, to you by the hatchery. So if it goes beyond 5%, you should get worried. That should be something else, and you have to up your management style like that. So we'll continue monitoring the chicks to make more observations, keep the temperatures optimal, keep giving them the vitamins they need. The chick start, as you saw yesterday, temperatures and the feeds. Those are the things you have to look at this particular time. And then the biosecurity is very important right now. Those are the things you have to look at, so that we get to the point where the chicks have actually grown feathers, and therefore we are no longer spending money on the heating, guys, because it takes quite some serious money to actually heat a room like this, guys, and it's a bit draining at this particular time. So right now it's it's midday. Midday is almost 12 noon, and you can see it's a bit hot here. That's why you can see the chicks are asleep, and they are not asleep in single places. They are asleep in different places because the temperatures are optimal. Therefore, they can be able to sleep anywhere, as opposed to maybe at night when you find them crowding in one particular place. And you don't want them to crowd in one particular place, because I've lost several chicks to that. So that crowding in one particular place because of maybe the changes in temperature. Yeah, maybe the temperatures are not optimal in that particular area. So you can see the reading is a reading of 27. You can see that. So 27 degrees. Not bad for a daytime. Not bad for a daytime, because of course we have some supplementary heat in this particular place. But I can observe that some chicks, the feathers are growing, guys. There are so many changes. So many changes are taking place. Look at this. Look at this active chick right here. Look at this. The white feathers are coming in. Of course, after a few weeks, they'll turn brown. They'll just have to turn brown after a few weeks. Although right now they are white. Supposed to be white. Look at that. And this is just day 3. So which means the progress is good. They are feeding well, and the consumption is okay. Consumption is okay.